1380. You can email us. The address is ccspeaks@live.com. You can check us out on Facebook, and you can check us out on our homepage at wccfam.com, and also on your iHeartRadio. You can listen to us streaming live at both. You'll have little videos that Peter puts up there on the website and all kinds of fun stuff. Superintendent of Charlotte County Public Schools, Doug Whitaker, is in the house. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you, Ken?
Good, good. What's going on? How's it going?
Going well. Going well. Yeah,
Okay.
having a good school year.
Good.
Yeah.
How are things shaping up?
Kids are in school, teachers are teaching. I don't know what to say. This is the time of year we're sort of in the groove. We're up and rolling, and routines have been established. But from what I see when I'm out in schools, is teachers are doing a really good job and focus on the kids. I tend to be amazed that with all the stuff going on, and all the political conversation around education and everything from the budget to accountability and teacher performance pay, that the overwhelming majority of our teachers come to work, go into their classrooms, and do the best job they can with our kids.
Yeah.
And they block out the nonsense, while they're in the room. Then, once we're out of the mode, and we're in the parking lot, we're at home, we're in the community. That's when we have a lot of our conversations around.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
What in the world?
Yeah.
But
Well, kids are off today, right?
kids are off today. Yeah.
Okay.
End of the first quarter, teachers get a chance to catch their breath, talk to each other, which is harder and harder these days because they have less planning time, less time to sit down and compare notes and review data. But today's the day when they get to, if they haven't already finished their grades, submit their grades, chat with their colleagues and talk about best practice, look at the data, and get ready for another quarter.
Yeah. And do we have any preliminary data, or grades looking good? Kids looking up?
Right now, it's all anecdotal. It's just word of mouth. But from what I hear from primarily the principals and some teachers is, it's a good year. Our teachers are constantly, our good teachers and our great teachers are constantly trying to find ways to get better at their craft. So they're looking at data all along the way, and the feedback so far is the kids are doing well. They're learning to read, they're learning their math, they're writing better, and we're finding that teachers are really putting into place a lot of the new skills that they acquired, especially over the last couple of years, as they look at the Common Core, which is a curriculum shift. They're making those changes, really getting a little bit deeper into the content, and having kids think about what they're learning and reflect on it, be able to use it more meaningfully, and that piece is going well.
Now, when do FCATs and all that stuff, when does that come up?
That's in
Doesn't come up till
April.
April?
We'll do the writing portion of the FCAT in March. April is time for the reading and math FCAT, and of course, end of course exams now at the high school level. All kick in during that late April, May for the end of course exams.
Is there any preliminary testing that you guys do to kind of see where you're at?
Yeah, we do preliminary screening at the beginning of the year, sort of pre-assessments. What do the kids already know? What don't they know? So that we can really focus on closing the gaps and the holes that kids have in their prior knowledge. That's really important. So we do pre-assessments at the beginning of the year. Then we do a mid-year check. How are they doing? Are they progressing the way they need to? Are they on track? And then finally at the end of the year. As far as our major assessments, most teachers are constantly checking, literally daily, class by class. They're assessing, are the kids getting it? Are they not getting it? If they're not getting it, what's wrong? As they circulate through the classroom, as they ask kids questions and see how they respond. So there's always that that constant check. And you remember in school, here you get quizzes or teachers would be asking questions. They're always dipsticking, if you will, checking the oil. How are the kids doing? And again, are the good to great teachers then adjust what they're doing based on the feedback they're getting from the kids, whether or not they need to reteach a particular skill or come at it from a different direction. So there's that constant assessment, informal. We call it formative because it forms how we teach as kids go along. So that's always going on. Then we pause and take some significant early in the year, mid-year, and end-of-year assessments, which are the more formal tests.
So, how much autonomy do we here as a school district? How much autonomy do we have in regards to what we teach, the way we teach, subjects, curriculum?
We have very little autonomy in what we teach, and that's not inappropriate. States are charged with the education of their children. It's not a federal interest.
As much as they want to make it one.
Nor should it be. So the curriculum is really set by the state, and so as the public listens to this, they are probably familiar with Sunshine State Standards, which came out back in the 1990s, which brought some uniformity to Florida as far as what was taught and when it was taught during the school year. That is shifting now to the Common Core, which is simply an agreement among 24 states, the consortium we belong to in Florida, agreement among 24 states as to what they will teach at different grades. It's not a federal intervention, it's a voluntary intervention by the governors and chief educational officers of each state. So this Common Core has formed over the last 5 years, and that really dictates what should be taught. Now, how things should be taught has almost always been the purview of the teacher and the school. The state has sort of taken over part of that with that Senate Bill 736, the accountability bill, in which they have said to the districts, you now have to build a teacher evaluation system that is research-based, based on what does the research say are really good practices in the classroom. And they've told us we have a choice of two models, Charlotte Danielson's model or Bob Marzano's model, which they're good research-based, and here are effective strategies to use in the classroom. Using graphic organizers is one tool that we use, helping kids visualize how information is organized. Comparison and contrast, using overlapping circles, and you put two ideas side by side and see how they're different, and then see where they're similar in the middle. And you can do that graphically right in front of you. There's all kinds of graphic organizers, and the research has said that's really helpful for kids, especially in conceptual knowledge. So the state has said you have to go down this road. You have to use one of these two models. It's arguable as to whether or not that's really the state's business from a policy perspective, or whether they should have said to the districts, you need to find a research-based approach, and teachers should be expected, as you do their evaluations, you should be able to see best practice going on in classrooms. It's a little too prescriptive for me on the state's part, but that's where we are right now. So what we teach is the state's purview, in my opinion. How we teach really should rest with the professionals in the building. As long as what they're using, they can show there's good evidence it's effective.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So that's where we are. So we've lost some autonomy on the how we
and that's
teach.
been one of my biggest complaints. Is I just think that the federal Department of Education should just get the heck out of the way, dissolve itself, and get that money back to where it needs to go into the states, and that the local school boards should have a little more autonomy on one spot. And I think we'd all be better off, but we are where we are, so you
We are.
deal with the hand you're dealt. But it does, again, you can't really argue that we're not doing a good job here in Charlotte County, because I think by and large we are.